So we're going to be working a class today all about core integration. So we're basically going to be doing half an hour of just core work. So please, if you get tired, come out of it, have a bit of a stretch, and then we'll come back into it. And we just want to really focus on all the tiny little movements when we're working. So we're going to be coming down to lying on the ground first. Now, a lot of the time, this is kind of like an old thing, I think, from people in the gym. When you're doing crunches, which we're not going to be doing because it puts quite a lot of pressure on your back, but a lot of the time people say you have to flatten the whole of the back to the ground. That's not true. You stay in your normal curve of the back, so we want a neutral spine. We don't want this anterior tilt with our bum sticking out, and we don't want this posterior tilt with our bums tucking under. So we want to try and find that neutral pelvis where we've still got a slight arch in the back, but everything is feeling sucked into the center. So that's the feeling we want when we get to the ground. What we also want to be thinking about is almost pulling everything inwards. So using these transverse abdominis here that wrap around our obliques, internal and external, thinking about it feeling like almost like a corset, like we're wrapping it around the whole of our midriff and sucking everything in. That's what we want to think about. We're just going to switch to a quick up close shot of my belly, so aren't you all lucky? Because I'm going to talk about doming. Okay, hello everyone. What a lovely angle this is. So I wanted to talk to you about doming, but it is quite hard to see and quite hard to explain when the camera's far away. So imagine we're coming up into a crunch or something, and I'm not thinking about my belly. I'm not thinking about integrating anything, and you can see that there is this hump. Can you see here? That yes, we've all got fatty bits on our stomach. Maybe you don't, maybe you're really lucky. But if you don't integrate your core, this part here is going to stick up. So I hope that you can see that nice and clearly. I'm going to come down. I'm going to think about squeezing everything in. And on my exhale, once I've got everything integrated, pulling it all in, pulling that pelvic floor, coming back up. And you can see that that dome has completely gone. It hasn't taken me into that washboard stomach, unfortunately, but so that's the doming, that's integrating. So I hope that makes it a little bit clearer for you. We'll switch back to the nice angle now. Okay, so I hope that was good to see the doming and then really integrating so that you make everything squash into the center. We're going to start on our backs. So come all the way down. Let's just start to settle in here. Closing down the eyes. Taking some really deep breaths in through the nose, out through the nose. Starting to come into tune with your body already, especially that back body. Think about that lumbar spine, that lower spine, and just feel, maybe you want to take your hands there, just see how far away from the ground it is. Do you have your neutral pelvis? If you are anterior tilt, are you maybe still in that anterior tilt? Take 3 more rounds of really nice deep inhales and exhales. Okay, we're going to come into bridge, so absolutely feel free to open your eyes. Set your feet up so that you can just about touch them. Hips at distance apart, knees facing straight up. Remember, you can put your block in between your thighs if you know that you're somebody that starts to lose that integration of the inner thighs, because we want to keep those knees facing up. Inhale, think about pulling everything to the center. Use that pelvic floor. Squeeze it in before you even go anywhere. Once you feel that activation, lift up that pelvis. Now I really want you to think about this bum, the glutes being so active. Maybe you give them a prod and lengthening that bum forward. So we're coming out of any kind of back bend and really lengthening the glutes towards the underneath of those knees. Thinking about all four corners of the feet grounding into your mat here. Exhale slowly all the way down, doing that 2 more times. Inhale, already think about squeezing everything in. Maybe that pelvis slightly tucks under, all the way up. But remember that cue of tucking the pelvis, if you are posterior tilt, so your pelvis is always tucked, you think about your own body. Make sure those glutes are engaged. Draw the belly button down. Exhale all the way down, really nice. 1 more time, big inhale, activate, pull everything into the central line. Make sure those inner thighs are working, make sure you're grounding through the big toes. Exhale all the way down. Okay, thinking about our sacrum, so the tailbone area, so this the part of our back that kind of meets the top of the bum cheeks almost. We really want that to be flattened to the ground. The lumbar spine, the lower back, does not have to be. That can be slightly off the ground in that natural curve that I keep talking about. We're going to pick up the knees, hug them into our chest, so wrap the arms around them, keeping the sacrum on the ground. So I don't want you to pull your knees so much in that your bum starts to come off of the ground. Really keep that sacrum down. And then lift up the shoulder blades to try to take the forehead towards the knees. But don't release that sacrum, so don't be tempted to pull your knees so much in that it then starts to take that lower back, the tailbone off of the ground. Holding here. And then taking the hands behind the head, just gently cupping the head with your hands. We don't want any pressure here, your elbows are in. Exhale, take the knees so they're over the hips. Really think about, we don't want doming, so keep everything sucking in. Bring the knees slightly inwards. And then back out. In. And out. If you have to come out of this and then come back into it, absolutely do so. In and out. Really nice. Okay, coming to stillness, and we're going to take one leg lifted and back. Lift the other leg and back. Keep the shoulder blades off of the ground. Don't be tempted to try to pull that head up as a cheat. Keep extending through those legs. Keep pulling that belly button in towards the spine. Really nice. 3, 2, and 1. All the way down. Really good. Lengthening the legs now. Taking the hands so that they're by the temples. Really activate the legs. And now when you put your hands by your temples, just think about if your rib cage starts to stick out, if you come more into this anterior tilt. And really try to contain the rib cage with your hands at your temples. On your exhale, we're taking the elbows into the center and rolling up ever so slightly. Core engaged. Maybe you just have a quick look down, just check you're not doming. All the way down, hands out, elbows out to the side. Exhale, roll all the way up, scapula off as much as you can. Try to keep that head in line with the shoulders. All the way down, elbows back out. Exhale, elbows up. Lift up, really keep those legs active. All the way down. Exhale. And down. 2 more times. I'm going to exhale all the way up. Keep thinking about this whole middle of your body squeezing in. Okay, 1 more time. Keep those legs active. And down, really nice. Maybe you come into a big stretch. Whatever you feel like you need to do. Really, really nice. Okay, taking the knees so they're over the hips again. Hands out to the sides. Maybe your palms are down. That's going to give you a little bit of extra stability here. Again, think about the sacrum grounding. Don't need to worry about the lower back, but just make sure that you're not dumping into those hips. And so you're coming into that anterior tilt. Control the core, integrate the core. And when you feel that integration, start to take the knees over to the right. As low down as you can go with keeping the left shoulder onto the ground. Nice and slowly. Inhale all the way back up. Pull everything into that central line. Exhale, knees over to the left. Keep the right shoulder down. Inhale back up. Don't be tempted to take this too fast. Anytime that you feel that you're coming into that anterior tilt, just remember to engage that core again. And just take this side to side in your own pace. Feeling those obliques starting to wake up. Okay, take one more time, both sides. Come back to center, take the feet down. Just rest here for a second. Maybe you want to take the feet out to the edges of the mat, knock the knees. Take some nice breaths. Okay, taking the knees over the hips again, taking the hands to the temples, elbows facing up. Inhale, exhale, lift up. And this time we're going to take our left hand to our right thigh and push the right thigh into the hand, push the hand into the thigh. Maybe you come into a little twist, facing over to the right side. And then all the way down. Exhale, integrate all the way up. Right hand to the left thigh, push into one another. Slight twist in that body, or take it even more if you can. All the way down. Exhale, up. Push into one another. And down, really working and strengthening our hip flexors here. Push as hard as you can, both ways. And down. This time, if you want to take it up a notch, taking that left hand to the right thigh, pushing, whilst also extending this left leg. And down. Remember, you can absolutely come out of this, have a bit of a wiggle, and then come back into it if you feel that you're starting to dome. Okay, one more side, one more time, both sides. Really nice. All the way down, have a stretch, whatever you feel like you need to do. Okay, we're going to roll all the way onto our bellies. Taking it the other way now, so we're coming into some Supermans. So that's going to help us with our back core, the muscles in our back, so particularly our spinal erectors that run down the spine. Come into Sphinx first, so elbows under the shoulders, palms flat to the ground, arms placed about shoulders width apart. Pull the hands back, allow the pelvis to sink down. Feel like your heart is pulling through all the way past your hands, keeping the ears in line with the shoulders. Exhale all the way down, forehead down. Taking the hands again by the temple. On your next inhale, lift up the chest, keeping the elbows out to the side. Really using that lower back, keep drawing the pelvis into the ground. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, reach back, all the way down to the ground again. Inhale. Exhale, reach forward. Inhale, pull back and down. Inhale, reach forward, reach back and down. Keep going. Really feel like you're pulling your arms through something really sticky. It's going to help the pull of the elbows, help strengthen the shoulders. And we don't do enough pulling strength with our shoulders in yoga, so this is really good. Keep going. 2 more. All the way down, just resting onto one cheek. Hands underneath the shoulders. Push all the way back into closed knees, child's pose. This is going to feel great on that lower back. Hands behind you, just allow those shoulders to fall inwards. Feel that stretch all the way down that back. Breathing here. Inhale, come all the way up into your all fours just for a second, and then we're going to bring this left leg forward into your low lunge. Come all the way up. Now I really want you to think about here, rather than just dumping into your low lunge, not really thinking about it, I want you to think like you're being pulled up through the crown of the head. Everything is sucking to this midline, this invisible line running up through your body. And we're integrating the core. So just like we were doing on the ground, we're really thinking about this all working. We're going to take our hands to our temples again. Be cautious that you're not starting to flare the ribs. And on your exhale, we're going to twist over this front leg, but keeping the elbows out, keeping the hands at our temples, and just using the obliques, using that core to spin us around. So as much as you can go, keep the elbows drawing away from one another, pulling the shoulder blades together. Don't be tempted to just move this head as a way to cheat that you've spun around. Feel that the movement is coming from the waist. Every exhale, see if you can inch a little bit further round. Keep sucking everything into the central line. Inhale all the way back, really nice. Exhale, take the hands all the way back. Slight tilt over this front leg. Tuck the right toes. If you can, come all the way up, lift up. Keep this core integrated. Keep the shoulders drawing back. Keep that right leg firing. Inhale all the way back, hands up. Integrate that core. Exhale, hands all the way down, stepping the left foot back, switching over to the right side. Bring the right leg forward. Inhale up into this low lunge. Remember, we're not hanging out here, we're sucking everything in. We're integrating the core. Hands to the temples. Exhale, start to spin from that waist using the obliques. Keeping the elbows away from one another, drawing the shoulder blades together. Don't be tempted to drop those hips, keep them aligned. Really slowly, just using the power of your obliques. Keep nice and tall. Inhale all the way back to center, take the hands back, tuck the left toes all the way up into this slight tilt, keeping that core engaged, glutes engaged, holding here. Inhale, come all the way down, hands up. Exhale, hands down, step this right leg back into your child's pose again. Let everything hang out, we don't need our core engaged now. Make sure you're using those deep breaths all the way down to the belly. Okay, coming into that one more time through your all fours, bring the left leg forward, all the way up into this lunge. Hands to the temples, make sure you're not flaring the ribs, core engaged. Exhale, start to spin from the waist, keeping the elbows out, drawing the shoulder blades together. Keep those glutes engaged. Don't be tempted to take the eye line back, cheating that you've gone further round. Just use that core. Final inhale. Exhale. Spin all the way around. Hands behind you, tilt slightly forward, core engaged. Tuck the toes, come all the way up. Make sure those ribs aren't flaring. The energy is driving through that right leg. Inhale all the way down, hands up. Exhale straight down, switching over to the other side. Low lunge. Suck everything in once you've got that integration, hands to the temples. Exhale, start to take that twist. Really using those muscles to take you around. Final inhale. Exhale all the way around to the front, hands behind. Tilt forward. Once you're engaged, tuck the back toes all the way up. Breathing here. Glutes on fire. Next inhale, this time we're going to bring the left foot forward to meet the right. Inhale, take the hands up, gaze up, really feel a nice stretch here. Exhale, forward fold, knees bent, chest to thighs, bend those legs a lot. Coming into your ragdoll, take the feet just over hips with distance apart and hang your head here. Let your belly all hang out. It's really important to realize when we integrate the core and when we don't need to engage it. Feel that head hanging, really feeling heavy with the gravity. Maybe you're swaying from side to side. And we've done all of the core work, so well done. Planting the hands down, stepping those legs straight back. Tiny bit of core, okay, alright, I lied. Plank pose here, push the mat away, drive the energy through the heels. 3, 2, and 1. Come all the way down to the ground, thinking about that integrated core. Forehead down. Inhale into your cobra. Maybe you come up all the way as much as you can with keeping that pelvis to the ground. Feeling this nice stretch through the front. Breathing here. Exhale, forehead all the way down. Push all the way up through to your wide leg child's pose. So knees out to the side, toes touching. Hang your head here. Sinking the hips down to the heels. Again, letting that belly completely hang out. Working our way to stillness, whether you want that seated or lying down. Make your way there now and close down the eyes whenever you get there. Wherever you are, palms are facing up. And the breath is really nice and steady, bringing that calmness and stillness back into the body. The belly almost feeling like it's getting a massage with these deep inhales. Release any tension that's been building up in your head, behind your eyes, in your jaw. Completely let go. So it's really important to remember that when people say to you, not just me, engage your core, that you know what you are doing. That you'll really think about all areas working together. That you feel confident to rest if you know that you are starting to lose that integration. Knowing that you can come back into it even stronger. Making our way out of our session now as it's starting to take some movement into our bodies. Wiggling the toes, wiggling the fingers, taking some stretches. Whatever feels right for your body, whatever you feel like you need to do right now. And then if you're lying, start to make your way up to seated. Keeping your eyes closed if you want. And once you're in your seated position, take the hands to heart center. Bow the chin to the chest, thumbs to the third eye. Really, really good job, everyone. It is not easy. So be proud of yourself for sticking with it, for really listening to your body. And also maybe not overdoing it, knowing when it was time for you to just bow out and come back in. Coming to the end of our session, so whenever you are ready, taking the hands away from the eyes and blinking the eyes open.